Trust is an important aspect. And with me, you see there Dr. Archana Chatterjee, one of those responsible for that trust, the member of the FDA advisory panel and dean at Chicago Medical School. Doctor, it is good to see you. Thank you. You know, when I was thinking about this, I sort of think, oh, when I hear that the FDA or this committee or that committee is going to vote in favour, I think, oh, of course they're going to vote in favour. I can hardly see them not voting when in the middle of such a crisis. So is it just I mean, I know you voted against the Pfizer one on the grounds of the age of 16 and 17, but essentially you were in favour of Pfizer, you're in favour of Moderna. Is it just a question of, oh, just get on with it?
Not necessarily, Richard. I think the important thing that the public needs to know is that this is an independent committee composed of experts in vaccinology, in infectious diseases, in immunology, in statistics. And each of us takes our role on this committee very seriously and makes sure that we understand the risks and benefits, and then after discussion, vote according to what we believe is in the best interests of the public, whether this vaccine should be authorized or not.
And assume for purposes of this question that your vote on Pfizer would have been a casting vote. Let's say it was finely balanced. Would you still have voted the same way on this 16-17, thus denying all those who have since had the vaccine?
I think for the 16 and 17-year-olds, the concerns that I had have stated publicly before, which is that I felt the data were insufficient as presented to us. Obviously, several of my fellow committee members thought differently and voted differently. And it had to do with the data that were available, the fact that these folks are not in the high-risk priority group at this time, and that they don't make their own medical decisions themselves. And so those were the reasons for which I voted no for the 16 and 17-year-olds. I would have voted yes if I'd had the opportunity for 18 and above for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
So we're at this fascinating moment where the US will have two. I mean, essentially, this is going, the EUA will be agreed and approved. And yet the statistics still show 30, possibly up to 50% in some places, like in France, still are suspicious about this vaccine. Does it help when people like the Vice President and Sanjay Gupta, does it help when they take it?
I'm not sure that I'm the right person to answer that question, Richard, but I would say in general, anything that builds trust and confidence, as you were talking about earlier, in the vaccination program is going to be essential for these vaccines to be successful. As has been said by many people before me, vaccines don't stop pandemics, vaccinations do. And we need people to take the vaccinations in order for the program to be successful in bringing this pandemic to a halt.
And when we look at, for example, the AstraZeneca, which is coming in, I'm not asking you to preview your vote, although if you wish, you'd be happy to do so. Is it likely that AstraZeneca is going to have a bit of a tougher time because of their problems over first the half dose and the full dose, then the half dose? Does that create not a warning light, but a caution for you?
I'm afraid I can't speak about AstraZeneca's vaccine at this point in time because I haven't seen any of the documentation related to that. I've only seen media reports, and typically I do not comment based on those.
You can't blame a person for trying, Doctor. At least, thank you. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard.